Hey, welcome back to I'm Okay, guys. My name is Marley, and today we have a special guest for you. Oliver and I, we are going to be talking with Fabian Kremser. He's a triathlete, and it's all positive vibes happening over here. We're going to just exchange some energy, some positive vibes, and just sit back and enjoy, guys. Thanks.
Mr. Fabian, thank you for joining us, sir.
Yeah, Fabian, welcome to the show.
And thank you for welcoming me. And I'm actually sort of now, this is where I'm getting nervous because I've never done this before. So I'm happy to be here. And
take your time, brother. Take your time.
Yeah. Yes. So I believe that Oliver, you were actually the contact here, and getting Mr. Fabian able to join us today. How did that happen?
I think I'm the glue of the world. I met Fabian on Facebook, actually. I think it was around almost summer last year when I started to build up my triathlon experience. Let's call it like this. I was almost a professional swimmer in my youth, and I always liked to ride bikes. I did some amateur races, and so I thought to myself, why not add running to it and make it a triathlon? Not thinking about what the fuck I'm doing there. And so I think Fabian saw something in a triathlon group of me posting something, and so yeah, we got in touch with each other. We wrote a little bit. He offered me help and support if I have some questions, and this was the beginning. And I think in the beginning of the year when I had my separation with my wife, and we got in touch again, and he's also actually part of I'm Okay already, because he's one of the guys who sent me unasked money on PayPal, and I passed it on to Chemo. So he's already a part of I'm Okay, and I'm so glad you're here, Fabian. And I give you the chance to introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, thank you for that. Exactly. We met on Facebook, and to me, this is I love meeting people on Facebook, because to me, this is like sort of proof that this whole social media chaos is actually good for something. So yeah, that's a clear win. Every once in a while, someone drops in about like, yeah, it's good to have this, and I really enjoy that. And exactly, I saw you posting something that you had this idea of doing a 70.3, and the way you wrote it, that was what that really spoke to me, because you were on fire, man. This was like you celebrated every single training like it was the world, and
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. And when people like pretend to be uber cool, when they're like, yeah, I just rode 20k on the bike and it was so cool, but they're like, oh no, I could have done this faster and blah blah blah, and you were really burning for it. And that was like, I like this guy. I really like this guy. So we got in touch, and then we got in touch again when I sort of learned that Oliver was not only a brilliant photographer, but also that he wrote like a cookbook, which I then bought. And then, then later, a little bit of time passed on, then you hit sort of a really hard spot. And I was like, oh no, you know what? This is like, I know tough times. And I'm really no stranger to them, and I sort of sometimes wished someone had helped me, and I always was like, you know what, if I can help someone, something, even if it's just a little bit, I want to do it. So I tried that, and here we are. We just stayed in touch, and I'm so happy to see that you are getting better, Ollie. This is like really.
Thank you very much, brother.
It's really great, and I think it's also really great to see what then after, and also in this time happened, that there were a lot of people sort of chiming in, and you really supporting you and each other, and something grew of that, and it gave me a little bit of hope for this world that is sometimes giving a little bit a glare of fucked upness, if I may use this French word here.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, and to me, I'm actually a coach. I own a small coaching business here in Switzerland together with my business partner. We have our own lab where we can do performance diagnostics on the very highest level, which is absolutely awesome, because it has been a dream of mine for about 10 years. And this year, basically out of the blue, within a few months, we realized that, and we're up and running, and it's absolutely fantastic and great. And then I'm also doing my own sports. I have been a professional triathlete for about 7 years. And then at one point, life happened. And I had to decide, do I keep chasing this dream? Or do I decide to, eat? So I'm not what you would call a reasonable guy, but in that case, reason one. And I had to quit. And I still remember that day when I wrote the letter to, I was racing with a German license back then, when I wrote the letter to the German triathlon organization that I was handing in my professional license. And I kept telling me that this is just I'm not defined by a piece of paper and stuff. And of course I'm not, but it broke my heart.
Of course,
but I had to work. So I worked and I built up the business and it was good. And then when I needed some more money, I because I liked it, I took the opportunity to play in a band, which I did for 3 years. And I played the bagpipes. This is not something that people normally do. So we were sort of a medieval band, and it was really cool. The guys, they are still up and rocking, but after 3 years within this time, it got from a very well-paid hobby to a horribly paid second job. And it started to interfere with my sports and with my training and with my work, because while the other guys were drinking and relaxing between gigs, I was there on my laptop working and talking to athletes and coaching them. And I had 2 burnouts in this time, and then I decided it was enough. So I left that, but sort of it all came together shortly after I hit a really crippling depression, and things unraveled that I really wish upon no one. But eventually I got to a point where I was like, what do I want in my life? And I was like, you know what? I'm not done yet. I'm not done with my professional racing. I want to do this again. So I said,
sorry to interrupt you on this, Fabian. You remember the quote, brother? Do you remember? I'm not done.
Yes.
It hits home. It hits home, Fabian, because the saying "I'm not done" was almost the beginning of "I'm okay." Because
all right.
I was talking to Male on the phone. He was back down in Bolivia, and we were talking about. And I always called myself, or the guys called me, the preacher of the calendar quotes. And we came to the conclusion, no matter how hard your life right now is, no matter how dark it seems, you're not done. I'm not done. And this was the beginning when I introduced Kimo to Male, and we set up the first Zoom call for this week. And I called the room MOK, Male, Oliver, and Kimo. So I just gave it a name, and we talked about I'm not done. And it's not again. It's not a
coincidence.
It's not a coincidence that you say exactly the same thing. And when we were talking about I'm not done, Kimo mentioned, look how the room is named, and I said, it's I'm okay, and he said, no, it's I'm okay. And this is how it got started. And so back to you. Sorry for the interference.
That's great. I can also chime in there once more, because you know what? A few weeks ago we were talking about my idea of creating sort of a traveling guide with the band Runrig.
Yes.
In Scotland, because Scotland seems to be a thing that we also share. And the quote "I'm not done yet," I got it from Runrig.
Okay.
When they had their 40-year celebration, and they were sort of beginning the last song of the set, the singer said, you know what? We're not done yet. We were almost done for tonight, but we're not done yet. There's plenty more music to come. And for me, that was okay, this is a quote I can live by, because they sort of wrote the soundtrack of my life in the past 20 years. And that was I'm gonna go with that. I'm not done yet.
No, we're not.
And then a really long process of doing and repeating started, because of course I had to evaluate where I stand. I had no idea where I was physically. I know that I was a little bit too heavy on sort of here, and I was the best thing that could happen to me would be to just have 1 year where I could just train, not do any races, not do anything else, because races, of course, you want to do them because this is why you do it.
Yeah.
And then sort of, Corona happened, and I was forced to just train 1 year. So of course, the whole thing is something horrible, which is still going on. But to me, it was not only
So it's so you created Corona to have a year.
Exactly. That was me.
Thank you very
me.
much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. That would actually be a nice new conspiracy theory. We should get it out there.
You were looking for an opportunity to train, and it just kind of fell into your lap.
Yeah, it sort of happened. I was like, that it would be good if I would be forced to, because I know myself. I'm really not a reasonable guy, and when I can race, I race. So I couldn't race, so I trained. And that was okay. So I don't know, call it a higher power, call it coincidence. In the end, I don't care what you call it. It was what should have happened to me. And because it got me where I am now. So it's good.
Have you raced since? I guess you have, because of COVID, you haven't had the opportunity.
Last weekend.
Oh yeah, last weekend.
He was in Copenhagen in Sweden.
Yeah. And
Denmark. I'm sorry. Oh, I apologized to all Scandinavian people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So was that your first race? So how many races have you had since?
Ever since I decided to come back, it was my first. And in the end, I think, well, I have been doing triathlon for over 20 years. It's my 21st season. I did my first Ironman in 2004 at the under age of 18. And I think this one was my, I've lost count, 13th, 14th, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
But every single one was different. I never had like, yeah, this is my routine, I'm going to do that. This was like every time it's trial and error. And with the long distances, it's more error than trial. So that's.
And
so
it's,
do
you need to love to suffer.
No, actually, that's not true.
Why?
Oh, thank you.
But hey, come on, man. You know exactly what you signed up for.
Exactly, but well, no, wait. Oh, let's see if I can show this to you. There is my girlfriend who was with me there. She made a really funny. She made a really funny picture of me. Here, can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's me clowning, goofing around, and it was actually on the last lap of 4. So I was starting the last lap of 4 of the marathon, and I saw her and her friend who lives in Denmark, who was also a really, really great support during the day. And I saw Tanya and Sven standing there, and I was like, yeah, last lap finally. And she's like, yeah, just one more lap, just enjoy it. And I went,
yeah.
What? Shut the fuck up. But actually, it got me thinking, because then I started having fun. Not because, I mean, at this point in the race, I was done. My legs were hurting, and I really had. No, I didn't have any issues, but I was sore all over. Yeah, but I was thinking, yeah, how many times did I read like race reports, and the wording was always the same. Well, I started to realize that I couldn't pull off my pace, so I decided to enjoy it instead. And I was like, okay, I get it now. You people are full of shit. You don't enjoy this. This is just not, I mean, come on. It really just sucks. So no, I'm fairly convinced that you don't need to like the suffering. Absolutely not. But you need to be able to endure it.
Yeah.
Because the reward is really worth it. This is no joke. It's this is something that you probably can't imagine. Like, yeah, this 1 second when you run over the finishing line and stuff. Well, why do you do that? Blah blah blah. The reward, the feeling gives you the sensation of accomplishment, but also, yeah, I don't know how to put this in words. It's really, really difficult to describe this feeling. But this feeling, this empowering feeling of being who you are in that moment. And also the really, really overwhelming sensation of clear focus that you have for the whole time in this race. No matter how hard it sucks, you're in the moment. And if you ever meditated and tried to stay focused for just 10 minutes, you know that this is really, really tough. But let's imagine for an Ironman, you have to be focused for hours and hours on end. So this is, I call this being addicted to presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of that. This is what's the triathlon for me, being addicted to being present. And this is absolutely worth it. And of course, I mean, it's a long day and things will go wrong and it will start to hurt. This is just, you know what you sign up for. But if you can endure it, You don't need to enjoy it, but you need to work through it. Yeah.
Could you apply this to other aspects of your life, like enduring through suffering or pain? Like, what does that mean to you? Has this aspect actually helped you in other areas of your life, being able to focus, being able to be in that moment, being able to endure suffering?
Absolutely. I to this day, I firmly believe that endurance sports, no matter what you do, I mean, if you're into running 1,000 meters, that's that. You're focused. If you're climbing mountains, that's that. If you're doing triathlon, just anything related to moving and planning and exhaustion and all the stuff sports like is the best school of life that you can actually have. And it shares a lot of similarities with learning how to play a musical instrument, because it needs a lot of dedication and a lot of patience. And in doing that, the process that you work through, the person that you become, it has an enormous potential. Of course, you also, it's a two-way street, because you can also screw it up epically. I mean, I know so many people that have really wrecked themselves with sports, no matter what discipline, because they had sort of dreams and goals that weren't obtainable, and they broke them. Probably also because they had no one to tell them, which is in endurance sport. Sometimes it happens that people aren't honest with you. They're not telling you, you know what, guy, you're nuts. You won't do this. But instead they tell you, yeah, keep going. DNF is not an option. And I was like, yeah, it's definitely an option.
You have to explain what DNF means, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. DNF means did not finish, and this is, of course, you have to pull out of a race. Then you're at the center, at the bottom line of the whole of the table, yeah, and there it says like DNF. And there are T-shirts that are written with like DNF is not an option, and normally these are we're talking about triathletes, and then there are triathlots.
Yes.
So, and these are like,
oh man,
this is a very triathletic thing to do. Like, yeah, DNF is not an option. And of course, when you start with the sport, this is like what you want for, because you want to be tough and you want to be an Ironman and you want to be the crassest version of you. And then eventually you think, like, you learn that this is just moronic. This has nothing to do with sports. It has nothing to do with passion. It has nothing to do with joy. But sometimes people aren't in for that. So, yeah, to answer your question, yeah, it helped me in basically every aspect in my life. Because if you want to build up a business from scratch, which I had, then first of all, you can't be lazy. And you have to do the work. It's just like you have to get up like a clockwork, do it over and over and over again, and the ability to focus on long stretches of time, and also just like to there was a brief time when they used to call me the pit bull, because when I had something in my mind, I really like bit into it and I didn't let go until I got it. So it didn't come from nowhere. I have this, well, let's call it a quality. I have this characteristic in me that if I'm onto something and focused on something, then I really am in for this. And yeah, it definitely helps.
Okay. That's so great. That's so great, man. And so you're a coach. You know, you are used to talk to people. They want to achieve goals. They want to be better in sports, and maybe some business coachings or stuff. You know, because mindset and getting in the right mood and stay focused for a long time. This is the same what we did with I'm Okay. You know, we started from scratch, something that wasn't there for us in this moment. But we had the urge, we had all the same feeling that we have to, or we want to put something out there. So what is something you would tell somebody who wants to achieve or obtain a goal or a dream, you know, to get into the right mindset? Because not every day is the same. You said it, you know, every race that you did was different. No matter how hard or how good your training was before, because I think the preparation is almost the same for every race.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and but every race is different. So this is like every day in life. You know, you wake up, you have every day a new chance, a new opportunity to do something about your life. But what would you say to a client that comes to you and he says, I want to achieve this goal? Doesn't matter.
Well, actually, that happens a lot. So
I'm sure.
I'm having this conversation. I'm having this a lot, and I can tell you, it doesn't matter who comes to me. My oldest client that I had came to me. He picked up triathlon when he was 69, and he did his first Ironman at the age of 72. So it's really not age related. And this is the first thing. I mean, if you have a dream, go for it. This is the very first thing. If you have a dream, go for it. And then the second thing is, this is the best advice that I ever got, and I haven't gotten it directly. It came from a movie. I have forgotten which one, but is what it was that quote that stuck with me, and it's very simple. Make a plan, see it through. This is sort of course, when we're coaching and when I'm working with people and athletes, making the plan is sort of my job. So they give that into my hands, which is also part of the huge trust that has to be there. But in the end, it's like that, make a plan, see it through, because no matter how big your dream and how inspiring your dream is, one thing is for damn sure. Your inspiration and your motivation will fail you and will leave you at one point for certain. And it can be that you are like highly motivated for half a year, but then something will happen, and then you're getting up, and then you're not motivated anymore, or you
Guilty.
The race. It happens
Yeah.
it happens so often.
Yeah.
And this is probably the third thing that I tell them: be always aware why you do that. Have your why, because if you don't have that, and you're just like on inspiration and motivation, it's sort of trying to build a city on quicksand. You won't do that, because you need the foundation.
Yeah.
You need something to build on, and if you know exactly why you do that, then you have it. Then you can also start building, because then the plan makes sense. And yeah, I do encourage people to dream really big, because there's just, to me, that there's no sense in dreaming small. And
No.
I think this is something, I don't know how this is in the US, but in Switzerland, and part-wise also, I think in Germany, it's like we are very reserved, and we're not talking big. Rather, if a Swiss guy comes to competition and was like, you know what, guys, today victory is over me.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh, he's a cocky bastard. What does he think? If you win afterwards, it's like, oh, I've always believed in you. But if you don't, like, yeah, there you have it. This is karma.
Yeah.
So better not say. This is like an understatement. Yeah, you know, I just want to do that and that and that. And if someone comes along and was like, yeah, you know what? I want to win that race. I want to climb Mount Everest. I want to, don't know, achieve anything. I want to get published in Forbes magazine, something like that.
Yeah.
This is just something Swiss people don't do, because it's sort of, they fear that when they open their mouth and they fail, then they're done for.
Yeah.
And this is something I personally just don't agree with, because boy, did I fail often in the past 20 years with various stuff.
Okay.
I failed so often. I mean, I started out just to do a fast training run, and then I couldn't do it. So it was a failure.
Yeah.
I started a race, and I had to quit it. But it was always like, you know what? This is part of the game. It's part of life. It's part of learning.
Yeah.
Question
It's
is
it's the process. It's you know,
Exactly.
it's the way, not the goal.
Exactly. What do you do with it?
Yeah.
And if failure is the worst thing that can happen to your life, then of course you tend to settle for small dreams.
Yeah.
Settle. Yes.
But this is something. It goes a little bit controversial with the whole naming branding. I'm okay, because to me it was like, I won't settle for okay. I want great.
Yeah.
So this is something that people settle for okay in terms of, yeah, that's okay, but it could be better.
Yeah, of course. But I think if I can interrupt you on this,
Sure.
I think the I'm okay is the foundation you talked about.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
this is the basement. You know,
Definitely.
this is where you build everything up. Because if you are okay, you start dreaming bigger.
Exactly.
You know,
That's yeah.
and when you mentioned the word failure, this was one of the topics in our last podcast. Fail is just the interpretation of first attempt in learning.
Exactly.
And so this is what we are. I think we all can agree to. We all experience this in our lives. I think for the most parts, I failed so many times in my life. If I'm right now applying for new jobs, so somebody is reading my CV, and they always ask me why you were there for just a year, why there just some months, why there for 5 years. You always have to explain yourself. And this is the mindset we have here in Europe, especially in Switzerland and in Germany.
Yeah.
And I think Austria is kind of related to this. It's always about some paper stuff. It's not what you bring into the company, what your life experience is, what you've learned. That's not written in a testimony or something. It's what it's out of which material you are made of. You know. We are all human beings, you know. We have to adapt to certain situations, to changes in life. You know, sometimes you got so bad kicked in the nuts. I experienced this some months ago, but yeah, here I am again, and I don't know, but I feel better than ever before. You know, and this is I don't know. I wrote this quote from Socrates: "The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not in fighting the old, but building the new."
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is what I'm actually right now doing. This is what Marley is doing. This is what also our friend Kimo is doing in the Philippines right now. Guys, just to have a short note on Kimo. Kimo, we miss you, brother. You will be okay, man. And get your time, and we wait for you.
Yes,
So,
yes. I think the first step to being okay, or getting to a point of saying, you know, I'm okay, is to admit that you're not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to
Exactly.
admit
Oh, yeah.
okay. That is, you know, they always say, you know, admitting the problem is the first step in fixing it, you know. But Fabian, I mean, we kind of pointed all our attention on you, but we gotta ask you while you're here. And I think you being a coach in this area is perfect, because you have so much experience trying to build these goals and helping people attain their goals, you know, for so many different types of people. I would ask you, when would you pinpoint that moment for you that you had to kind of take a step back and say, you know, maybe this is not okay. I need to make it, like, a change needs to happen here. When would you pinpoint that exact time for you?
I think I can, but there were a few key moments.
Okay.
And it started off, since we were a medieval band, we had, or they still have, I mean, I still love the guys, but the thing is, since I left, I haven't been able to listen to their music, because every time I tried, I had a mental breakdown, because to this day I miss it so much. Okay. So it wasn't just like, oh, this is getting in the way of my dreams, it's getting in the way of my life, but it was like I loved it, because it was an energy of a sort, this feeling to walk out on the stage, and you really, I mean, we weren't the most handsome rock star type of guys, none of us, but the songs, Jonas, who wrote the songs, mainly basically all of them, he wrote them, they were speaking not only to me, but you could really feel how he could touch people. So in my view, he really is sort of a genius in that department. And to feel the energy that people were dancing like there was no tomorrow, and just because you played, and they loved the music. They weren't there for the looks and for the selfie with you, but they were there because they loved the music. This energy, this is undescribable. And there was one week in particular, it's called the Medeltidsveckan in Gotland in Sweden. And it's the whole town or city of Visby, which is the capital of Gotland. If I'm not correct, please feel free to send your
hate speech.
Your hate speeches to us. But I experienced Visby to be the capital of Gotland, so well. The whole city is in this medieval fever for 1 week. There are like parades, and if you go into a store, then also like the cashier sits there in the medieval garments, and it's really like it's a special vibe. You need to feel it. And there we had a huge fan base. And the last time we were there, I started to feel that it was, to me, more an exhaustion than it giving me energy, because I was enlisted in the Ironman Barcelona that year, and I wanted to do that, but I couldn't for the life of me find the time to get just one single run in. And it began to build up a frustration. And I remember there was one night when I told my girlfriend, you know what, she was there with me this year, and I told her, you know what, I'm seriously beginning to question all this, because something is not right. And then, but we talked with the guys, because we were really great friends, still are. So we could talk with each other, and they were really forthcoming. We were planning, like, you know what can we do differently next year? Because if you need the time for your training, we can really see that like the scheduling is done a little bit better, that you really can find all of that. And I was like, yeah, this could work. But after this meeting, I was driving home, and I think it was that drive where I started to begin to feel that even if the guys were willing to do a lot for me, it wasn't the right thing. I wouldn't be able to do that one more year.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't what I lived for. I loved it, but it wasn't the life inside of me, you know?
It was not the fulfilling stuff.
Exactly. It just wasn't what I was meant to be.
Yeah.
Because when I looked back in the past, then what was 18, 17 years, the one thing that was constantly with me, giving me energy and filling me sort of with wings in times, it was sports.
Yeah.
In one way or the other. Either training and racing myself or helping others to achieve their goals. Because of course, this is very, very rewarding when you work for like 9 months together, and then there is this day X, and you are there on the course, and you're suffering with your athletes, and you see how they are having a tough time, but you start to push them, and because you want them to reach their goals, and then eventually you can greet them at the finish line. This is like, it's one of the best feelings in the world, and it's so good that at times for me it was okay to put this in front of my own racing. So it really was a sort of a trifecta of 3 great things in my life that I had to weigh against each other, and this is something it was tough to do that.
Yeah.
And after doing it, first I was like, okay, now I'm out of this band. What do I do now? And that was when I enlisted for the Ironman Switzerland in 2018, which I did highly undertrained. And also when I look back, it was then my depression was then beginning to settle in, because I can't tell you what it was. It was a lot of stuff that was happening, and it was only just beginning to get really, really bad. But I did that race, and I told everyone who asked me, what do you want in this race? I was like, you know what? I just want to see for myself if this is really the thing I want to do. And if it is, then I'm deciding whether, or basically how much I want it. But if I cross the finish line, I was like, yeah, no, that wasn't it. Then I will need to see what I want to do with my life. So I did this race, highly undertrained, a little bit overweight, and I finished, not in my fastest time, but that wasn't the problem. And I was like, yeah, you know what? It's still there. It's still this thing. So let's see. Then I started planning other races, but eventually it was Zurich again. And I was a little bit better prepared the year after, but this was during a time when I was like really rock bottomish. And after that, I decided, okay, I won't race again just to participate. I want to race. So let's build it up. But to close the circle, I think it was this drive home when I realized, no, I can't keep doing this like that. There needs to be a change. And then I had to act pretty quickly, and I did, and it was the right decision. It was tough, and it's still tough for me. But I also sort of think this is quite a positive thing, that I'm still sort of suffering of the loss of this whole music thing, because it meant something to me.
Yeah.
And if I could have done this like, oh yeah, on to new things, I think it would have left me with the feeling of having wasted some time, but I didn't. It was an absolutely fantastic ride with the guys. And I know there will be a time when I will be able to enjoy the music again, like without just breaking down in tears. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Hey, you made it this far. It's a good moment to mention our Instagram, our TikTok, Facebook, and our YouTube. And go ahead and follow Fabian's website and his social media. Thanks for joining us this far, guys. This second half is my favorite. We asked Fabian, how does he get through discouraging days? And I don't know if you're really looking at my little square down at the bottom, but you know, every now and then I'm like looking away. I'm just like, yeah, you know, because it's just hitting me, you know, in different angles. And you're gonna see that a little bit more in the second half. So hopefully it's having the same impact on you guys, our listeners. You know, we're doing this for you guys, and we want to make sure, look, we understand we're not the only ones going through crap. So we just want to be there and help others. If you are being affected, if you are having a positive experience, please let us know. You know, just send a comment on one of our posts on Instagram, or comment on our Facebook, even on YouTube. You know, send us a message. Let us know, you know, because a little bit goes a long way for us. Just knowing that we're touching people's hearts and affecting other people encourages us to keep going. So, hey, thanks for listening to us this far. Enjoy the second half. It's my favorite part.
I think like Molly and I experienced exactly the same thing, not related to the triathlon or to sports. It was for me the same thing with photography last year, where I thought, okay, everybody's telling me, you do great pictures. You know, I mentioned this in one of our latest podcasts, and I think my ego was too big, and I said, yeah, everybody's telling me, yeah, such a great photographer, you do such a great work, but nobody wanted to pay me, you know, and I got frustrated, and you know, I threw everything in a bin, and I said, no, I don't do it anymore, like a kid in the sandbox, you know, being discouraged and saying, no, I don't want to do it anymore. And I think I shut down my Facebook and my Instagram page for like 5 months or something. And I always had the feeling, like every day, I couldn't picture it. I couldn't find out what it is, but I was like, there is something missing inside of me. You know, the spark was not there. And this is the spark that you maybe mentioned in case of your sports, of your own competitive mindset, you know, that you want to race, that you want to be out there achieving your goals. And I think around December last year, when I was sitting on the Christmas table, my hand was always going to the phone to take pictures of the nice decorated table, you know, of the food and something. And I said, yeah, this is what I'm missing. This is what's so deep inside of me. And now that I had my separation and I applied for a job, you know, like the 9-to-5 thing, what I did like the last 15 years being a salesperson, like a sales representative for the companies. I did this for the majority of my adult life, and I felt so bad about it that I said to myself, you know, I'm 44 now. I don't have time to waste anymore. You know, I don't want to waste it anymore. I want to do photography 100% full time, no matter what it takes. You know, and this is something that came up to me in my mind, and I think we all have these days where we are discouraged, you know, where we feel lost, or you know, lost in space somehow. How do you get past these days, Fabian? How do you get your mindset back on track?
To be honest, sometimes I don't.
Of course not.
Sometimes I'm just accepting that I'm having a shitty day.
Yeah.
And this is also something that Marley, you questioned before. What have I learned? This is something that I've learned with the training. And in times we have been doing training camps back in the day, which was always a very great experience because you go to these exotic places and meet single-minded, narrow-minded, stubborn people who just talk about triathlon when they open their mouths. So they're sometimes really annoying.
Yes.
I can cut that out. No.
No.
It's everywhere, even in the photography business. It is.
They are
Oh
everywhere.
yeah, everywhere.
No. And you know, and sometimes I'm one of them because I still burn for this stuff. So no, it's all good. But I always loved the training camps because you were like 2 weeks somewhere off in your bubble, and all you could do was eat, sleep, train. It was perfect. And we learned something. We were joking about that. We're like, okay, you know what? Every week of training, you are entitled to one shitty day. If you're lucky, you'll have it when it's a day off, so you don't feel it. But if you're not lucky, if you have bad luck, then you'll have it on the longest tour of the week, and you are guiding the fastest group, so you just have to gnaw through your handlebars because you have to survive it. And most of the times I was lucky because if you're in a certain mode and rhythm of training, then the shitty days come when you have the day off. You can sort of plan them, that then you feel like really bad. But I experienced it once, and it was, to me, it was really hilarious because I was leading a group of 3 girls. They were really good cyclists. And this day, I couldn't follow them uphill. I was like, as if someone had put glue into my wheels. It was horrible. For like 4 hours, I was suffering. And then one of them was an ex-Eastern German swimmer. So she was a bulldog. And for the rest of the day, she was always really like joking. It was sort of vibing on the mean side because like, yeah, you're the young one talking about you want to be a pro, but you couldn't even follow the girls uphill. And I was like, I was having a bad day. So the next day was this long course. We were doing like 6 hours, 160 kilometers in the wind on Fuerteventura. And it was my turn to take the fast group. So she was like, oh, Fabian is leading the fast group. Yeah, no, this is going to be easy. I'm joining you guys. So I was good again. I had my shitty day and I was doing my job. And about after the 3rd hill, she was fighting her way through the group towards me in front, like, what the fuck is going on? Yesterday you were all like, yeah, you couldn't follow me, and now you're this. What the hell are you taking? I was like, hey, I told you I had a shitty day, and she couldn't get her head around this. Yeah. She was for the rest of the week. She was always like, yeah. You're a coke boy now. Smile, keep smiling, boy. Like, so yeah.
Where are you hiding the EPO?
Exactly. Well, I have been asked that as well, but
of course,
of course. As soon as they do that, no. But it was really funny. So sometimes you have a shitty day, and it's absolutely okay. The thing is what you do with it, and I get discouraged a lot. I mean, every time there is another bill coming in, I'm like, oh shit, because for about 10 years now, I have been on my own. I've been independent. For the first 7 years of my business, I was like really on my own. And now that I have a business partner, it's really, really great because he's an absolutely fantastic, super serious guy. Well, not serious in the way he has a great sense of humor, but he's like, he's doing a great and really serious job, and he's good with numbers, which I am not. I need a computer for everything, which luckily I have, but he's really like doing the whole financial stuff. So this is a great help, and we're also like playing really well together. But I still get discouraged. I mean, if there aren't enough bookings and so on and so forth. And for the past 10 years, I have known nothing but sort of living hand to mouth. This is I've never known the idea of having sort of spare money in my bank account, because it's like what comes in goes out, and I never know with the taxes and stuff and all of that. So of course you get discouraged a lot, but it comes back to that. First of all, you have shitty days, and they're just that. You can do something else. I mean, you always need to do the laundry, and I can always play with my bikes. So I still find something work related to do. And then it's again, make a plan, see it through. It's the same thing that applies also there, because I'm like, okay, there are certain things that need to be done, and there are certain things that need now not really skills. I can crunch some numbers, I can write some training plans, I can compose some things, so I can do them on a bad day. And I think the real challenge is not to let it get to you. Because if you let them sit on your shoulder and talk to you, it's like then it starts weighing you down. If you start to ask yourself what if, then you're done for.
Yeah.
It's just like accept it. Okay, it's there. I'm discouraged now. Everything is shitty, but tomorrow will be a better day. Or my personal recipe that really works all the time. Jump into a pool, swim 1 kilometer, and after that, the world is a different place.
Yeah.
It works. It works. You can also drink about one really large shot of vodka. It has about the same effect.
Yeah. Or in Marley's case, he found out that he likes Di Serrano. Hey. This guy, he's also a sporty guy, and he likes ice cream, and he found a bottle of Di Serrano in his brother's house, and he told me that, and I said, "Man, you don't drink." And he said, "Oh, it tastes so good, like almonds, you know." And I said, "Yeah, I know it for sure." And he poured it over his ice cream, you know, and he got drunk right away.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Disclaimer.
I call this a hard reset.
Yeah, hard reset. Yeah, it's please, Molly, in the post production, please put adult content on it, please.
So, disclaimer, that only happened one time, and I knew exactly what I was getting myself into. Yeah. But,
karma hit you right back.
To piggyback on Fabian, no, I absolutely love what you said. So my situation is really, of course, the listeners who been following us since the first podcast have seen me in Bolivia, talking about leaving Bolivia, and now I'm in America. It was kind of a really difficult situation there, where my in-laws' health the health is not that great, and I have a history in working in like clinics with massage therapy, hydrotherapy, herbology, like natural remedies and stuff like that to help patients in the past. So going to Bolivia, which is my wife's country, where she's from, I was able to help her in-laws, but at the same time, you know, I didn't have work. Long story short, the wife and I are not really on great terms. However, Oliver especially, and Chemo, had to, and of course my family and friends, had to kind of pull me out of it and say, "Hey, look, you know, you're in a place right now where we can see your mental health, you know, declining. You should get out of there. And you know, however long it takes, you know, you need to do that." And they were absolutely right. It was I wasn't getting a lot of support that I needed there. I wasn't able to pay some bills I still had here, but we were trying to make it work. Point is, long story short, obviously I'm back here. My wife is still there. My kids are there. And now that I'm here, been gone all summer, you know, I'm at a point where I'm finding out that, you know, once that ball has stopped moving, to try to get it moving again, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it's very difficult. And when I came back from Bolivia, you know, I had this mindset where I was like, look, I'm not going to have the people I care about around me, you know, helping people. I don't know if it's just me. Obviously, I mean, it's Fabian as well, because you said you work with people trying to attain their goals. You find a love for helping people, and you know, you get an attachment with them. And you know, especially if, you know, maybe if they're strangers is one thing, but when they're your family, like I look at my in-laws like they're my family, you know. And obviously my kids are there. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. He just turned 2, and my older one is about to turn 4 this month, actually, September. Yeah. So with leaving Bolivia, I knew that coming back here was going to take some time to get back up on my feet. And I could see myself getting depressed being by myself. I'm staying with my brother right now, which is great, my twin brother. But I could see myself going into a really dark place. So coming back here, I was like, okay, I need to just hit the ground running. I need to get back to work. I just need to keep my mind, moving. I need to keep myself busy. And all of a sudden, within a couple of weeks, I realized that my mind wanted to keep moving, but my body physically did not have the energy. And even something as simple as getting up out of bed, making my bed, getting breakfast, I would feel myself drained by the middle of the day. And my mind couldn't, I could only apply to a job a day sometimes, or, just little things that really shouldn't matter. I found myself getting really, I couldn't keep moving forward. I had to, do a few activities and just take a nap. And then I would wake back up, do a few more activities and be drained again. I had to take another nap. And it just got to a point where my brother and Oliver actually pointed out the same day. It's like, look, you've been through a lot. Your body has been through a lot mentally, has been through a lot physically, has been through a lot emotionally. And you need that time to just kind of like going back to what you were saying, Fabian, it's just to admit you're having a bad day, or a bad week, or, but so with the question that was brought to you, Fabian, where it says, you've had days when you're discouraged or days when you've had bad days, how do you get past them? What I got from that was, look, you just have to get past it. And not in the sense that most people think it was just like, bulldoze through it. It's like, no, sometimes you have to sit there and just let the day go by with all the discouragements, all the things that may be bringing you down, and just accept it. It's just like, look, this is where I'm at right now. And if I'm going to move forward, I have to, stop trying so hard to avoid the situation and just
let it pass.
Let it pass. Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I really love how you went about explaining that.
I can so much relate to that. This feeling that, like, when you're really in a dark place. I actually think this is a quite good description for what you're going through when you're having a depression. And I'm absolutely sure that you've experienced this as well. When you talk to people and they're like, "Yeah, how are you?" and you're like, "You know what? I'm having depression. I'm really in a bad place." They go like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I'm sad sometimes too." And you're like, that's I got some trigger phrases. One of my favorite was like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You know what? You can come to me every time, at all times."
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I want to tell you to fuck off, but it would be rude, so I don't. But I just told you that this morning I hid my car keys from myself because I wasn't sure that I wouldn't drive up the next tree trunk. And then I got back to bed because this single thing took me so much energy that I need to sleep again. And you think it would be a great idea for me to get in the car and drive 20 kilometers to your place so I can sit there and have a coffee and listen to you yap about how bad your privileged life is.
Yeah.
Which is what happened. Well,
of course.
not to get into any resentment there, but I just think that there is no, if you haven't experienced this, you can't relate on that. And I think this is so important that people can have the ability to learn that. And I know it's so hard to talk about it. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to admit that you have something. And sometimes you just have to sit there and let the day go by, and nothing will help. It's really, really horrible. Well, I came to the realization that chocolate and ice cream sometimes is an alternative, absolutely. And I very, very often resort to food. I'm absolutely your typical stress eater, which is it's funny because when I work with people in nutrition, they're like, "Yeah, I almost don't dare to tell you what I eat." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, just start. Want a chocolate?" And they're like, "What? You eat that?"
And the Swiss chocolate is oh man, it's really good.
It's good.
It's really good. Yeah.
I wanted to ask just quickly here. You could choose one person that probably has helped you get through some of these dark times in your life the most. Like, who would that person be? I'm just kind of curious.
My girlfriend, she's really standing behind me and helping me, but to be encouraged to really do what I want to do, like go on and do that, you can do that. The sad reality is that that must have been myself, because when I decided that I wanted to become a professional athlete back in the day, I mean, I was very young. My parents had no idea what it means. So what they were doing was like, yeah, you know what? Do it. We give you the chance, like financial wise, you can do that, which I'm eternally grateful for it, of course. But they had no idea what it meant. They were like, yeah, you know what? But we just want to see you do something. If you like sleep in until high noon and then you just like come out and start eating something and then you go back to bed. This is like, we know that this is not professional sports. So we want to see some progress, but we give you the chance. So this is absolutely fantastic. And because of that, I'm where I am at now. But I had to resort to myself, which is sometimes it makes me a little bit sad, because I would really love to have someone with me or someone around me that keeps also pushing me, and not just like, yeah, I support you. I mean, I love the fact that my girlfriend does that, and I'm eternally grateful for the fact that she puts up with me all around that, because I know I mean, it's sometimes it's really like, I can't imagine how it would be to be together with a triathlete. I always thought that I don't want that. So she sort of, she either has just a dismal taste in men and sort of just, or her eyesight is that bad that she still hasn't seen one. So I don't know. No, I really love her, and I'm very, very grateful to have her in my life. She's an absolutely amazing and really, really warm-hearted person. But the encouragement and the pushing forward, this is something that I sort of am doing on my own. And yeah, music helps a lot. This is something that carries me, but also not in the sense or in a way that people would expect that. Now, for example, when I'm doing sport, when I'm training, I never listen to music, never. This is just, then it's just me and my body, and so me, myself, and I, the unholy trinity. But music is, to me, I'm sort of a snob when it comes to music. I need content. I get absolutely cranky if someone plays a tune to me and they're like, yeah, what's special about it? It sounds good, like, but have you listened to the lyrics? Oh, I don't care about the lyrics. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Put that off. It's so stupid, and I literally feel myself getting dumber, and I don't want to waste my time with that. So I know that it's not really a good quality in me, but if the music gets content, it can really motivate me. And also, like, I don't know, have you guys ever heard the song Like a Rock from Bob Seger?
I know it.
So Marley, if you don't know it, Google it. It's it might tear you apart, but it will also build you up. Because it was around then when I got to the point where I was like, yeah, I want to do it again. And it started with me measuring what, had I lost something, had I lost my edge, had I lost my drive. And I was listening to this song in the car. A lot of my stuff happened in the car because I drive a lot. So there is this one line where he's singing, I was 18, didn't have a care, working for peanuts, not a dime to spare, but I was lean and solid everywhere like a rock. And it hit me in the nether regions like a motherfucker. Sorry for that.
Go for it, brother.
I have known this song for about 20 years now, but now it starts speaking to me, because this is exactly, I mean, I did my first Ironman at the age 18, and I was like, this is it. I found the meaning of life. And all of a sudden it was like, okay. So music was a huge part, and I encourage myself. I have some support, which I'm very, very grateful. But it's also, well, a little bit sad, as I told, but I think it's also a good lesson in that. If you want something, well, start believing in yourself. Because we believe in each other, we do that. If someone tells us, I want to do this and that, and well, in Switzerland, the first reaction often is we had is already, sicher nicht.
Sicher nicht. So that's surely not.
Of course not. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
So, well, but we tend to believe in each other and support each other, but in a way, we tend to forget the one person that matters the most. We forget to believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think this is really, really important, because I've experienced it a lot, like young athletes, and this is sort of a guy thing. I've never experienced this with female athletes. They come to me, they have this dream, they want to really, really go somewhere, and they also show some talent and great promise, and then they sort of get the first girlfriend, and all of a sudden the whole fire that burned for the sport, of course, burns for the girl.
Yeah.
But because the girl believes in them, because they also got like the relationship goggles, this sort of, there is an exchange. And for some time, they can sort of ride on the wave of the support they get from the girlfriend.
The girlfriend.
But that one will fade. It always does. Because at one point it will be like, you're always training, you never got time for me. And then when they tell them, you know what you got into them, it's either drama, well, no, it's always drama, but either they quit the sport or they quit the relationship, or the relationship quits them. So that's sort of a very, very rare thing that it succeeds in this constellation. And it happens when you sort of employ someone else to believe in yourself. So this is, I don't know, you probably know that when you want, even in the kitchen, when you want, Oliver, of course you can relate to that. When you want something to be done right, you have to do it yourself.
Yes.
And we in lots of aspects in our lives, we actually live it. But when it comes to believe in ourselves, we tend to employ someone else.
Yeah.
And sorry, they don't know how to do that. They don't do a good job in that. So
no, they don't.
That's something that I probably could be a message there. Learn how to believe in yourself, and you can actually do that. You can so learn it, and it's a great course. It's actually a great class. So
it's like, you know, your thoughts create your world, create your surroundings. And when you talked about the song from Bob Seger, there came this quote up in my mind that says, "When you are happy, you enjoy the music." And when you're sad or maybe desperate, you understand the lyrics.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is I tend to, of course, I'm a black music guy. I'm come from the hip hop background, but there are always, rap music is always, filled with emotions, filled with content. Of course, you have to, you either like it or you don't, but there is always a message behind it. It's not pop music, like twerking or shaking the ass, It's also, putting a message out there, tell about your life, tell about your struggles, about your daily business. And this is what, I can sit in the car and listen to some pop music because it's right there on the radio playing or something. And sometimes, I get carried away a little bit by the sound or something. But if I listen to music, if I sit down and just have a good time with myself, like I was sitting here on the weekend having a glass of wine with myself in my white robe, like the dude from The Big Lebowski.
Like the dude.
Like the dude. This is why I bought it in white. Because I'm not up for White Russian for the beverage, but I love my white robe. And I was sitting there having a glass of wine and just listened to some really good jazz music. And I was just sitting here and I had such a fucking great time. And the day before, or the day, it was horrible. I felt so horrible on Saturday, and I was looking into the sky and I said, man, I could need a little bit of guidance right now. A little bit. And then something happened, but this I will talk about when the cameras are not running.
All right, okay, that's good. That's great. Talk about jazz. Do you know Paolo Conte?
Of course I do.
So, the next time you enjoy a good glass or gin tonic or whatever, I'm a sucker for whiskey and I'm a sucker for gin tonic.
Me too, but I don't like gin. But whiskey, I'm up for it. Right. And we will have a lot of this next year when we go to Scotland, man.
Definitely, this will be terrible.
Yeah,
and awesome. His song "Sparring Partner." I don't know if you know that. This is sort of my jazz. I can sit in my room with a dim light and listen to it, and I'm like, now I'm good. This is
Yeah.
this is sort of I was thinking about just for myself doing a little video take, sort of just for me to get myself out there. I mean, I got a website, and I think I have about like 1 visitor per year, if it's that. But to me, it's like, well, this is my playground. So I have my blog there, I have my stuff there, I wanted to make sort of a video, because everyone is doing sort of video clips, like with this motivational, you hear rock music and the eye of the tiger, and they're walking to the start line, and like, that wouldn't be me.
Yeah.
It would be more like, hey, I'm coming back. I'm this old sparring partner.
Yeah.
Because in the world of triathlon, I'm a dinosaur. You know, the average triathlete is like, for 5 years they're active, and then they're either hurt, frustrated, or no longer single, or all three of them. But that's sort of the triathlon way to go in my experience. So
Fabian, thank you so much for encouraging us and maybe a lot of people out there. And I'm 100% sure we will mention your website in the comment section, and you will have more than just one visitor on your website. I'm 100% sure. I'm so proud that you're part of my life and part of the I'm okay community. Thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're a busy guy. And congratulations on the victory last week in Copenhagen. Man, this guy finished under 10 hours. Holy crap. I know that was not your goal. I know you want to have the 8 before in your timestamp, but man, what an achievement. I'm so proud of you. Well done.
Well, thank you very much. And well, it was a victory over myself. So it was.
Yes.
Actually, yeah. And I had 2 goals. I wanted to make my peace with the track, and I wanted to finish unhurt.
Yeah.
Both of these goals I reached, so the time was a bonus. I'm coming for that 8, and it will take me a few years, but I will get there. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you guys, and the honor is mine. It was I was very flattered. It's the first time I've done something like that, and I enjoyed it very, very much talking to you guys. So don't hesitate to call again. I love this.
Oh, we will. You've said a lot that's cut through all the clouds that's going on in my life. And like you said, you know, there's an energy. Sometimes it's just talking like this, you know, and for you possibly as well. And I think that energy, doesn't matter where and what part of the world you're in, like, you can feel that. I'm in Florida, you know, you guys are in Europe. And I mean, it's just like, everybody who listens to this, I think, just get some of that positive energy that you shared with us today. And it's been really uplifting. So thank you again for joining us. Always lovely to see our giant teddy bear, Oliver. And hopefully we'll have Chemo with us next time. We greatly missed him today. And thank you for all of our listeners joining us and just being with us on this journey. And again, we just pray that you guys will be okay, better than okay. And we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.